and your nerves are they're part of the process. And if it ever gets to the point where I'm not a little nervous, then maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. When you're practicing in the backyard, we're always the king of our own backyard, and you're in the backyard shooting. I think it'd be a good exercise maybe to keep score and say you have I'm fortunate enough to have a little mini range there at my house, and I probably have 8 or 10 3D targets that I can practice on. I try to only shoot one arrow per target because I think it's easier to grab arrow after arrow and send them versus having that mindset of, okay, I'm only getting one shot here. We tend to stand in one spot a lot of times and we just shoot arrow after arrow after arrow without any mindful execution of the shot. And if I had one tip for anybody, practicing for a hunt, is treat it the same way. Maybe even, I know as season gets closer, I'm usually going to have my hunting gear on. I'm going to be shooting the bow that I'm going to be hunting with, which I hunt with long bows and wood arrows. That's kind of my thing. That's what I compete with. And it's good to have that one arrow mentality. I have two thoughts on that. The first is I shoot a lot of cold arrows. So what I'll do is I'll grab my bow and then I'll go to one of my 3D targets, and that's my cold arrow. And I'll make sure that I'm focusing on executing the shot with that cold arrow. Because like you said, when you're on the stand, you're basically, you get that one shot only, especially if you sat there for 4 or 5 hours and you're cold. A guy ought to be picking his bow up, looking around, making sure there's not a deer watching you, and draw the bow a couple times. So that cold shot is a good thing. There's a dichotomy there, I think, of we all want to be able to make a shot under pressure, but can you make a shot under pressure when you're cold, like you mentioned?
Yeah.
But I do think there's some validity to getting a little looser and getting those reps in that are perfect reps. And the old adage is, practice makes perfect. No, perfect practice makes perfect.
I've had some where I've actually depended on my safety harness to hold me in the tree stand because in order to get the shot off, I had to basically stand at the edge of my tree stand and lean forward
Oh,
until I could, hold the strap and then lean forward. It's like, okay, it's holding me, and then take the shot.
yeah.
And yeah, if you've never practiced that, that can be, nerve-wracking where you're trying to depend on the safety harness to hold you in the tree stand.